So we're just waiting for the beginning here. As this is game 1, there is no settings changes. So this will be a open mode 7-7, randomized swords, etc., etc. Interestingly enough, you don't gain channel points if you're just in chat like I am. And they have begun. A mushroom immediately. Looks like there's going to be a little bit of a delay here between the two, but that'll get fixed up shortly. So we have about a 15-second delay, so we're going to see a pause. Whoa! Oh, okay. Mushroom into shovel. And Doomtap looks to be going straight to one of my favorite. Oh, I see. Immediately going to hand in that shovel. That actually makes or that mushroom. That makes a lot of sense. That is an interesting route and choice there. Interesting that both got a fetch quest item in the first chest. So 2 fetch quests immediately. And Doomtap, in my opinion, making the correct decision to just go immediately here with the Fake Flipper. It does not take that one from where he was. And it is the cane. So that is interesting to have immediately. I did not notice that there was anything on the ledge there. So Cane of Samaria immediately. If it was, if that was anywhere else at that mushroom, that might have actually been a little bit. But again, with it being right there, all players in this tournament would immediately know, hey, I should probably just go hand this in. Doubt that AA will delay that check very long. So, will be nice to see magic here, because then Doomtap could go immediately do escape. And there's the fire rod. Speaking of weapons, quite a decent start here already. Cane and fire rod in the initial check areas. 20 on the uncle, and looks like oh, how nice, digging out bombs, and 4 bombs at that, and powder, even more fetching of the quests. How interesting. And what seems to be very cool is that I seem to be basically watching alongside you guys rather than being quite, far ahead. So this is very interesting. And not a lot of people think to shovel, but, it's not a bad idea to shovel. I think that there's even some set locations, but I can't remember if that's linked to the past or not. But there's a few spots where it always works. Doomtap actually hasn't killed anything since that first pull, so it just pulled nothing. And there's the fire rod for Doomtap. More money, lots of chump change in the town itself, but the surrounding area is quite rich with items. That's another piece of heart, a heart, and a lamp. So that gives us both our lamp and our fire rod. For those of you who maybe don't know this, maybe you haven't been watching that much V31, haven't seen much of the changes, because there's now 2 item algorithms, the fire rod can be a requirement for some items that it wasn't previously. So certain rooms that have lamps in them that can be lit by a fire source are now considered in logic with just the fire rod. So that adds a little bit more. For example, escape is one. So it's definitely interesting to keep that in mind. But in this case, it doesn't matter, as we've got the lamp, so There are a few places that both... I think that was the hammer? No, it was the hook shot. Okay, and we got the book as well. Coming up. This is quite interesting. So, book is almost French vanilla? It's right there. It's right. It's just one house down. So it's pretty interesting. And some more bombs. Always useful. Just some money there, but honestly, we're a little low on money, so those 50 rupees will be gladly taken. So, quite a few options here. AA is going to get that. And the cane doesn't have many uses outside of the Dark World, so it won't really matter as long as the AA doesn't take too long to hand that in, but it looks like they are opted to hand it in later. And they're going to do these checks first. Oh, bow right there, front and center, easy access. Looks like we actually will have access to two of the Light World dungeons. And gloves. That will actually give us the ability to complete 2 Light World dungeons at this point, not just enter. And they're both crystals. Gloves will also give us access to Death Mountain. So, lots opened up with those gloves. This is quite a lot of open options here. Book opens up. Desert Palace was crystal as well, yes. Blue crystal. I was looking at 1 and 2 and hoping that you... Oh, and there's the hammer, so that actually gives us access to every Light World dungeon and the sword. So every Light World dungeon is completable. Now, 8 minutes in, we could get 3 crystals immediately. So that is extremely interesting, honestly. So that is 3 completable dungeons right then and there. Moon Pearl is all we need to see Dark World, where we would actually have access to 2 more dungeon completions. So we could have 5 completable dungeons if we found Moon Pearl. So very interesting seed already. That opens up a lot. Now, I mean, there's still a question of what are the pendants in Light World. And where the Moon Pearl is. So, Moon Pearl could be on Pyramid. Moon Pearl could be on, could be in a dungeon. There's just a lot of options. I'm not sure exactly what I would personally do. I think I would tend to want to go to Eastern, because it sits quite quick checks, and then Death Mountain, and then Desert Palace. Doom has not gone to the Stam yet. Oh, Dark Palace. Okay, so Dark Palace. So we maximum now is 4 crystals that we could get. Oh! There's our second gloves. So that would actually give us access to a significant number of dungeons. So that also gives us access to the rare bunny cave, which we don't see as often due to the way that the randomizer works nowadays. That used to be a pretty common sequence break. Back before the randomizer change, it was pretty common to end up in Death Mountain with Titans, but not anything else. But like with not too much else, like just Titans, hook shot, like, and doing that check early. Just the way that things worked back in the day. So that's an oldie for a lot of people who watched V18, the first or even the second tournament, and races around that era. Super Bunny Cave used to be a pretty interesting sequence break. Especially if you had mirror. So like getting Super Bunny Cave routed in even without Pearl while you were doing the Light World East Death Mountain was a good day, generally. Okay, so not too much on Doomtap side. You did, and there was nothing in it. And you did check the first chest, there was nothing in it. I can only assume Doomtap is going to be going back to, the South Shore. We'll be getting their other glove, a hammer, quite a few items here. Big key on AmazingAmpharos. AmazingAmpharos' stream slowing down a little bit there. Hopefully we don't miss the check here. Oh, they do not have a lot of health, so they are going to bounce in there. It's just a red rupee. Okay, moving on. Wonder if anything will be on the boss here. I was not keeping track of the items, which is silly me. Going to do the spin slash and the quick kill here. And some additional arrows so that they have enough. AA will move, and then Doomtap will go follow AA. And there it is. Fairly fast kill. Nothing was actually in Eastern, but it is a crystal, so better get that out of the way now. It'll be interesting to see where AA goes from here. The saving quote will tell us quite a bit. And going to Death Mountain, which makes the most sense, can get access to quite a bit. The entirety of Light World and then Super Bunny Cave. Oh, looks like also they're going to check Escape as well. Which Doomtap had done. Actually is also a good check. Kane was on the Mushroom Handon. So Doomtap actually did that immediately. Okay, and seeing the bottom of the steep. Not too much to go on here. Honestly, I've if I you know, confessions of a commentator, this has been the year that I didn't play too much Randomizer. I was quite busy with a lot of other stuff, mainly life, but other things as well. And so I haven't actually played that much. But lately, I've been noticing. Did not pick up the key. Oh, I guess yeah, they didn't need to pick up the key. Had the key from before. So I've actually been noticing the V31, what I've played of it, quite nice. AA will not need the key. Because of the way that they did the dungeon earlier. They don't need to get to the back of Escape from the front of Escape, so. Okay, Doomtap has now done one crystal. We'll see which location they decide to go. Looks like they're going to the basement. Yeah, Stew, glitches, and ancillary stuff has been quite interesting to see from the back. It's not stuff that it's all stuff that is nice for optimization, but isn't always necessary, and doesn't generally save a lot of time. Splash deletion is the cool one that actually is a pretty bit difference, and Hera pot is another interesting one that saves quite a bit of time. So we're seeing AA go to the mountain. It looks like Doomtap is just following in the footsteps of AA, but in reality, the time it took to get the cane is pretty much the time difference that they have here. Neither of them are in the lead, honestly. Like I was answering your questions before you typed it, which is kind of funny. AA is essentially. Is Doomtap running on console? I'm not sure. It's hard to tell. I know. I'm pretty sure AA plays on console. Most top level players play on console, actually. It's just better. You do actually get a slight advantage. There's only negative things that can come with playing on an emulator. There's the boots. So, and Moon Pearl. So now we've got access to Dark World as well. A will most likely do Hera and then come back and do Dark World, but they actually have access to all of the Dark World mountain chests as well. Generally, if you're going to get to the point where you're taking this fairly seriously, it's probably worth investing in either a console, a SNES Classic, or some kind of like repro thing. It's honestly, a SNES plus an EverDrive is pretty sweet. Certain repro consoles are allowed. I believe it's kind of a case-by-case basis. But the easiest one to obtain nowadays is probably the SNES Classic. SNES Classic is sort of an emulator. Sort of a repro. If we're being very, very technical, the SNES also runs ROMs. But yes, it's best to check the Discord for questions like what consoles are allowed. And you know, the easy ways to obtain good consoles is a good question too. Kane is on the mushroom, so AA just hasn't handed in the mushroom yet. Yeah, sorry. The Discord that Synac posted is the correct. That was a very clean kill by AmazingAmpharos. Parapot on Doom's side. Thankfully no keys, so no basement, so no breaks. Oh, they did get the key? Oh, I missed that. My apologies. Well, don't get an EverDrive, Kippy. Whatever you do, don't get an EverDrive. That's a mistake. In 2019 for SNES. For other consoles, perfectly fine. Don't get EverDrives on SNES. It's fallen significantly behind tech-wise. SD to SNES with a USB is the recommendation. That way you can very easily upload ROMs to it, and technically has access to crowd control if that's ever a thing you want to do. Oh, Ether. I cannot read if we've seen... No, there's no way we could have seen Turtle Rock yet. Also, Multiworld, yes. You would need the USB for Multiworld. That's a good point by Travis, and that is something that you definitely should play. If you have friends that like Randomizer, go play a Multiworld of that Randomizer you and your friends like. Multiworld is the funnest thing on the planet. Honestly, I've done a 6-person Multiworlds for OOT. I haven't actually done Zelda 3, but they are some of the most fun you can have with friends. Just have a side game to play is my only recommendation. So we got the Master Sword from the cave, so not too much on the island. We do have the Moon Pearl though, so that did open up a lot. Yeah, then Super NT is the recommended repro console for SNES. That's a pretty good... Yeah, there isn't too much that we need at this point. So we need access to Swamp Palace, we need access to Mire, we don't know, and Turtle Rock. We're going to need the ice rod, the flute, the flippers, bombos, possibly something else. Again, AA only looks ahead, but honestly isn't actually ahead by too much. Might gain a slight edge due to route him, but might also lose some because of how long it's taking him to hand in the mushroom. The funny thing is that if he's... I'm not... Yeah, it's just a matter of he's waiting for... Oh, we also need the mirror. So there's quite a bit left. We got a lot to start. Opened up quite a lot, but this is almost one of those seeds where I can show you that getting a lot of items early doesn't necessarily speed up the seed. Although, getting 3 crystals in 35 minutes is very nice. Oh, and there's the flute. Okay, well that's another thing. Pretty much every location has had something in it. Let's see, EP didn't have too much, but this has been a pretty interesting seed so far. Okay, Doomtap finding out what dungeons are required. Looks like that might have changed their decision on where to go. We got our first bottle. I think AA was on the pitzel to DoorDash, but opted to play it safer. There's one thing I noticed about AA's movement is that it's less fully optimized and more like safe. So, like, it's still fast, but a lot of the movement he makes is like 0.5 seconds slower than the perfect optimal movement. But if you made a mistake on a lot of those more optimal movements, you lose more time than you save by just taking a more consistent route. It's an interesting notice that I made. Is just a lot of the ways that he dashes and movement and combat options are a little safer. AA actually forgot the key. Was it this key right here? No, actually didn't get the key from Desert Palace? Oh, from the bid chest. My assumption, bid chest or not. I'm not sure where the other key is. But you did go to the far right. Oh, it's actually right. Oh, you never got the bid key. We need the ice rod, the mirror, the flippers. That's it. It's those items. AA needs to find the cane. Yeah, just if there are some technical issues, there are some in the background. It's we're doing something a little different. We had to change something on the fly, apparently. So normal setup wasn't working. So went with a backup. That actually is I'm preferring this setup. Very good fight. Oh, and we need Bombos as well, actually. Oh, Doomtap has mirror. I missed that while he was in while I was watching AA. Any relation to Zelda other than we're both Canadian? No. And I've played on his console before? No. I borrowed his console to play FF4 at GDQ. And AA finally has the money for Zora. After all this time. Let's see if Doomtap finds anything in the Dark World here. There we go. We're interested to see which item we need to get into Desert. Sorry, Meyer. AA is going to hand in the bottle here. Actually, both have a different bottle, I think. Yeah, they definitely do. That's very interesting. AA is going to hand in the powder. Which Doomtap is going to do momentarily. Oh, just 10 arrows. Oh. Doomtap going for the red. And now that AA has the ability to fly, and Boots gonna grab this here. Now, their differences are both in not off the wall checks so far, so there's nothing crazy happening yet. So again, it looks they're just going down different paths, but they're probably tied. It's just they did different routes. And AA is about to, if anything, AA's route is going to lead into the items sooner, because DP is just less checks, and Doom has access to a lot more. Well, DH Storm, apparently I can bend fats to my will, according to another chatter. So I will do my best to say that DH Storm now has hot cocoa. Okay, so Doom is doing some additional chits that we haven't seen. AA is basically doing what Doom has just done. Got the mirror now, which is quite nice. I don't know what Blue Boom is, or Red Boom. Red Boom is Bombos? Oh, Ice Rod. Ice Rod is good. Let this be Bombos on Doomtap side. That'll be interesting. Did he lose the chest? I didn't see it get handed in. I'm very confused. Was it flippers? Oh, bid 20. Does Doomtap have flippers, then me and the tracker missed it? Or is splash deletion in Water Temple possible, and I didn't know that, because that would be cool. Nope, he forgot. That's unfortunate. That's not what I was hoping to see. I was like, are we gonna see new tech? I was hoping to see new tech. I thought maybe because I don't remember who, but somebody in the Discord asked, what happens if I discover something on my own time? There's Ice Rod. That's always the fear. So what's been found? Nothing. I was just making a joke that what if something was found. Yeah, if there are some things that are kind of borderline. And, you know, like you're like, this kind of breaks the spirit of what the glitches were like. I think Herapod is a contentious topic. Apparently, I don't care one way or the other. I let smarter people make those decisions. But I definitely think that flipperless swamp would be immediately banned. Both runners got Tempered Sword. Doomtap's now doing the dungeon that AA did. AA finished the dungeon that Doomtap did. So now AA is going to do all the overworld that... AA is going to do all the overworld that Doomtap did. Doomtap's going to do some of the overworld that AA did. And again, like, they're just not on different paths right now. Do we have a match? Yes, they're essentially tied. Scary Olive. Basically, they're just doing different things. Oh my, I just discovered I can pop out the window for this video. This is very good for me. This video is now like 6 times bigger than it was a second ago. My life has changed. Okay, they're back to being tied in crystals, but their overworlds are very different. Completions. Man, those are some currently beatable pendant dungeons there, huh? Just what was done a while ago. Yeah, with Meyer being completable, I think they'll both opt to check there. I don't think either of them know the medallion requirement. Why not dive MM? Because that would take time, and there's other stuff that they can do, and hope to have more medallions. And they still need other items. Like flippers is important. Flippers is the big one that they're missing. But I personally would have checked Meyer, but I'm bad. So they're definitely doing the correct choice. I'll say, I don't know. I am not sure if that's correct, but you know, if both of these runners are opting to wait, I will assume that that is correct. Oh, I missed it. Which one was it? I cannot tell with the tracker, so somebody's gonna have to tell me in chat. Ether. We have ether. That's completable. That's a dungeon. What if I told you we can do 5 crystals in under an hour? One of these guys actually honestly could have AA could have done this like 20 minutes ago and had like 5 crystals done already. How do I see those so fascinating? It is a lot of practice, and when you're in the moment, like, and you've done this enough, like, that's what I sometimes think when I'm watching, and then when I play, I do the same thing, and eventually, like, you get used to it. It's the same with any, you know. For me personally, it's because I did play a lot of roguelikes, and my start in speedrunning was roguelike, so it's a lot of like on the fly. Like if you want practice, like play a roguelike, like the Spire, and try to play like them as quickly as possible. So the Spire, by Advisor, the Necrodancer. If you're having a problem like racing in randomizers, like those, like do those, and like just practice like reacting to your environments as quickly as possible. Obviously, you can play roguelites as slow as you want, and for some people that's their goal. You know, just play as quickly as you can. Or sorry, play as slowly and methodically as you can. Others like me, I play all of my roguelites as quickly as I can. If I am min-maxing, I am playing it wrong. On slopes. I think I knew that. But yes, I did know that. Of course, slopes are slower. Oh, hey, there is another. That is another crystal that we can complete. How crazy! Bit key. Oh yes, also, you know, press restream, not watching 2 people, watching 1. Lots of reasons. But yeah, I mean, these guys are some of the best in the community, like racing. So, like, everyone in this tournament is just, like, kind of almost leads above a lot of the other players. Oh. That is a Pinocchio. That is an A-press joke, isn't it? Can you beat Link Past with 0 A-press? No. I don't think so. Wait. Maybe. Yes. Definitely could. So I'm pretty sure that's how any percent works. That's very good movement from Doomtap. That was an extremely good mire. Okay, and going immediately. Oh, Doomtap hasn't done this. They'll both go immediately to Swamp Palace, and if Bombos is there, then this is go mode and one of the coolest fast seeds I've ever seen. Although Doomtap is checking a few chats first. Technically, the Swamp Thing, he did all the movement there fine. It was just a matter of, the route it. And, you don't go to Swamp without flippers. That's all. So they are both going to be going into Swamp Palace at roughly the same time. Wow, a key was in that chest. Oh, wait. Not Key Sanity Tournament. Man, member hints. And the checks aren't till later in this dungeon. There's actually quite a bit of a gap between checks here. There are a lot of checks in this dungeon, but they just take a little bit to go. A cape. with a very unlucky jellyfish. Also, when I look at red jellyfish, now all I can think about is Outer Wilds. Actually, that's a lie. All I can think about nowadays is Outer Wilds. Till I beat that game. Boil down to who could start Pendant Dungeon. Well, I mean, it might not be. It could be either on pedestal, and thus they'll have to clear all three, or it could still be in this dungeon. It being in the dungeon is quite low now. There's the bid key, and we're gonna have to go back for it. Bid key might not have been on Argus. Bid key could have been on, could have been in the bid chest, and that could have been an item, but it was not. AA is. Oh, this could be a big gamble. Ooh, this is interesting. So I know there's some new. Oh, maybe not. Never mind. I thought there was some new stuff with the bomb. I guess if there is, they're not doing it. No, this is 100% inventory, which means that only the big keys and small keys can lock themselves. Okay. I don't think either player has checked Pyramid or Catfish. So will Doom check the rest here? Doom is going back in, so if an important item is the bid chest, that mirror out, and it is nothing. So A's gamble pays off. What is... I assume Doom was doing something there, but I'm not sure what. Okay, so now it's... Unless Zora has it, it's gonna be 1 out of 3. Pod would be the best option. It's on Zora! And that is Go Mode. Oh, and Doom is not going there. Oh, the low money in the seed actually made such an interesting change. Oh, and Doom is... No, Doom is not. Okay. So Doom will probably be going to Zora shortly. They're just checking a few extra thins, but they are behind. Doom is not done Catfish. So that's what they're doing, but they're currently wondering, is it here? Amazing. Zora with progression for Go Mode for both runners. I mean, Kyle, they're not that far behind, but sure. There's quite a bit. Like you can make a lot of gap with execution, and Doom's execution is top notch. He is behind. There's GT. You can lose a lot of time just in GT with different routes. You can. It's definitely not. It's not AA's game to lose. It can also be Doomtap's game to win. You're not sure he's seen it. Wow, you've never seen a seed more linear. Oh no. Okay, never mind. You've never seen a seed where players have had access to all 3 pendant dungeons. Sorry, all 3 light world dungeons in the first 15 minutes and had access to, I believe, 9 dungeons by the hour mark. So, yeah, unfortunately, this is not the routing. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of chets here. It is a pendant. Maybe you think that it's pendants. Unfortunately, this is not what you want to see in a race. It's very interesting that the pendants had literally nothing in them. So, Yeah, this is the unfortunate thing that can sometimes happen in randomizer. Oh, hey, that's a hover. That's cool. I like seeing those. AA never even went near a pendant dungeon. Oh, at least Doom's having fun with it. They don't know. They just think the seed kind of sucks at this point. It's very open because there's actually, despite somebody saying that they've never seen a more linear seed, there is 3 pendant dungeons currently uncleared by AA, which means he had 3 other options other than Zora to do. So, you know, very open. Very cool seed. I liked it. Red mail. Doom for getting the door. I did that yesterday, so I can't even really make a comment on that other than to say, yeah, I forgot that Switch 2 for some reason yesterday. So that is A. We'll be moving on to GT. I haven't been doing this a while. I don't feel free to guess keys for guessing game, but there's no game here, so you can just type a number into chat. We're gonna, watch Doom. At least Doom's play is very entertaining. I'm enjoying this. The bot died, I believe, and it's not really worth reviving. Probably. It just, I don't know. It probably was not an easy bot to make. That's to parse a lot of chat. Chat likes it. Chat's allowed to have fun. Oh, the bot is available, Cynet says. Okay. Then I do not know. Oh, the bot is available? Oh, I could have done something? Oh, okay. Well, I didn't know. Somebody told me it didn't work. Still didn't work. And is start. I will remember that for next time I'm on this channel. Thank you for letting me know, Sinat. We didn't start it in the last time I did this, and so I just assumed it was broken. I don't even count them anymore. I just like to see what room they're in. I'll throw away the results. I like the people guessing numbers less than 6 right now. You guys stick to your guns. And there's something about that. You know, I appreciate that. Oh, Doom is doing Doom is on a game plan. Doomtap is a great player, and we need to see them do everything. So, you know, in the end, it's a win-win. Well, no, it's actually not a win-win. It's actually a win-loss. Why was it a win-win? It's not a win for Doomtap. It's only a win for the viewers. That's unfortunate. The Dog Done will definitely come before he goes to Zora. Basically, Rebel, I think what Doom has done, Doom has opted for the assumption that he's lost if it is on Bombos, because he assumed AA did it a long time ago. So that is the play, and it does make sense. It is a gamble. It's a similar gamble to AA. Like, go into the parallel universe where Bombos was in the big key chest or left side. AA lost this match, possibly just as bad as Doomtap looks like he is. They each made a choice, and it didn't work out. How did nobody get 16? I always love it when like a ton of people guess and it's still nobody wins. Nobody wins with like a perfectly right guess. That's always cute. I don't know. It actually bothers me that AA doesn't do... Yeah, there we go. That thing. My favorite thing. Holding the sword out and shooting the bow. It's bothering me. Okay. Again, I actually do understand Doomtap's choice here. I might have made a similar one. Everyone would have done pendants? I don't think so. I usually check Zora pretty early, but I wouldn't have in this seed either, because there was not a lot of money going around until way later. I don't know. Some runners have a rule where they will not touch pendant dungeons unless they have to. So that might just be AA's rule. It'll be interesting to ask him. That was an interesting double. So that had like slid? And we are moving on to the Ganon fight on AA's side. Definitely looks like it could be a 125 something, although this is silverless, so maybe like a 126. It was a very good squeeze in there by AA. Wonder if he's done. Oh, he's just gonna damage through. Okay. What is the high C in this guy? I didn't check. That's a good question. So I just know they're both using Link sprites. I normally don't really care about sprites. Silverless is cool. It is weird that links are banned on this channel. But that is interesting, that the bracket command doesn't exist. It might be a different, command. Huh. Oh, rip. Trinets. Thank you, Cynet, for posting that. But what about ZFG? ZFG has good Zelda skills. And he starts with a Z. Actually, I think he might be like alphabetically the last Zelda player. But congratulations on AA with a 125-12. And Doomtap with a roughly 126 something pedestal pull. At some point, I'm not sure when. Let's see if AA is waiting around. AA ends with an official time of 125.13. GG. And there he is. Welcome, AA. Congratulations on your first win.
Thanks a lot. This was a interesting seed.
Very open?
Oh, this was totally a jet seed. Like,
yeah, like, how did you feel when you realized you could do 3 full dungeons in, like, by the 10-minute mark?
Well, in my mind it was 2 because I didn't know about the boots in Desert Palace or not. But
oh yes, yeah.
Yeah, it was. I mean, the early game was just ridiculously generous. I'm like, oh, I can do this pretty well. And my first real call, of course, was when I could have gone to Death Mountain and did Front of Escape, but I did Front of Escape because I was like, you know, the odds of the Moon Pearl in Front of Escape, given that there's only one item in the back, aren't too low, and Death Mountain's a million times more efficient with that Pearl. And then Front of Escape was garbage, other than, you know, the powder to lose more time later. So that was making me feel behind, because if you just played in a straightforward way, you could just kind of charge ahead. The only thing that would ever hang you up the whole seed, I was thinking this more and more, was Vamos, which thankfully I made the right decision of which way to go for Vamos. Basically the first time it was a hard call.
Yeah, the lack of money in this seed, and when you got Moon Pearl, kind of never made it. It's like Fake Flippers was never really a good choice, like routing wise, and so there's just other things to do. And you guys were actually, like, right up until Doomtap flew to Ice Palace, and you flew and you started doing, like, you both went in the general same area, like for what you did before you went to get the Bombos. He did the same thing, just right behind you, but instead of going to Zora and Catfish, he mirrored and flew to Ice Palace.
Yeah, going into Ice is the kind of play, like, because, you know, I was considering, you know, if it's like in front of Skull, well, that's a silly situation. I'd have to hope we both made the same decision.
Right.
Pod seemed like a really good play, and I was really tempted to go straight to Pod after Super Bomb, but, like, you know, Zora River is very similar density and much faster. I'll just do this and then I'll go Pod. Ice Palace is like, if I do Ice Palace, it's because I think I'm behind, and I'm sure I'm ahead if it's there.
And I think that's without asking Doom yet. I mean, he's just in there in Turtle Rock now on our side. I wouldn't be surprised if that was exactly, like, that's what I was saying. Like, people are like, oh, that's so crazy that they're going to be so far apart. But I mean, it really was, like, he probably just thought, like, there's a good chance you went earlier, so if Bombos is in that area, he's maybe thinks he lost anyway. But in actuality, if he had gone to Zora instead of doing the pendants, you guys would be, it would have honestly been an execution thing. Like, if Doom executed very well in Turtle Rock and in GT, you were about a minute ahead if like he had decided to go to Zora instead of Fluting away. It was you guys were like a minute apart the whole seed. Even though it doesn't really look like it, when you analyze it, what each player had done versus what they hadn't done, I would say you guys were never more than a minute apart throughout this entire race.
Man,
And
if I
consider
lost
the
by
options.
less than a minute, I was gonna be so mad at myself because of Desert Palace.
Yeah, don't worry. Doom made an identical time-losing mistake of going to Swamp Palace without flippers. So, roughly, honestly, the same amount of time lost, I feel like. But, yeah, both of you guys, and those mistakes were made at around the same time, so it was actually kind of funny to see. It's always funny to see, like, players who are at this top level, like you, Doom, anyone in this bracket portion, make those simple mistakes that everyone makes. Like you aren't immune to making a small mistake like that, or I mean, it could be a large mistake. But
yeah, I mean it's been a long time since I've done that particular thing, and the mental trap's really easy. I have both items in Desert. One of the items is an interesting item that impacts my routing going forward. Let me calculate what I'll do with that, and not. There's a really important thing that must be on that torch.
Right. Because it was small T in the small T chest, and then 2 items in the east side, and then Big T was just in its normal, or no, Big T. Sorry, that's not the vanilla location for Big T, or sorry for the small T. That is Compass Room that small T was in. Compass Room map, but. That was very interesting. Oh, hey, Blue Cane is in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, I also have the funny thought of Ganon told me silvers are in Ganon's tower. If silvers are on the right side or in big chest, totally whatever, I'm not going to find them. If they're in that one chest I left behind in upper GT because I didn't want to menu to powder, that's...
That would actually be funny. Yeah, it's that chest. It's that chest and those 2 chests in the Helmasaur room, which are always like, man, what if this is something useful?
I mean, it's even funnier in this case because I opened the 2 in the Helmasaur room and I'm like,
yeah,
because I was like, maybe silvers are here. I didn't check any pendant dungeons. Maybe gold sword is here. That'd be kind of nice. But really what I'm going to find here is a piece of heart. I know it's a refill, and that's going to save me a menu to powder. I'll save time by opening these chests.
Okay, it looks like... So... no, that's... yeah, so... Okay, so yeah, I mean, at this point we're just basically watching Doomtap finish up the race here. Hey, Buttersword is actually in the... roller room in Turtle Rock. So that's interesting. You passed that one too. You decided to just hyper go mode Turtle Rock. Not chests.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of my philosophy with routing go mode Turtle Rock, I always go to the big chest. I know a lot of people like to gamble skip it. Not only is it a stable route, but if I do get the last key I need in that chest, then it actually saves a good bit of time not going to Laser Bridge and not having to lose cycles on that roll.
Yeah. Oh, hey, the right first key. Doomtap. Checking chest on the way, but not checking the rest of the bridge. Yeah, and the T-dash, that's actually kind of a weird T-dash to remember. Honestly. So when is your guys' next game?
Our next game is at the same time on New Year's Day, which would be Wednesday, of course.
So for people who want to see this one continued, there you go. Honestly, this was very entertaining to watch. Just both of you guys execute quite well. Doom's play is actually very short. I actually don't know Doom that well. I want to feel like maybe he's newer than the last tournament, but I also wasn't paying too much attention
Doomtap's story is he's a very strong vanilla speedrunner who is relatively new to the randomizer. We actually were in the same group, and this is a rematch from the winners finals of Group J.
Oh, okay. That seems to be happening a lot in this format, which that's actually pretty normal with like the GSL format to end up rematching. It's just the way it kind of works out. You're gonna have similar match ratings to people in your own group, so it does do this, and I personally like it because it does create inter-tournament rivalries. But with how infrequent these tournaments are, I could see it being annoying that you play the same person, 4 to 6 times, so 4 to 10 times. So I don't know. I'm curious to see what people's opinions end up being. I think it's interesting, definitely from a viewer's perspective. See people
there's probably going to be a lot more rematches in round 2. And in this very first round of brackets, to my knowledge, Doomtap and I are the only 2 who have played each other. I know there's another matchup from the same group, but it's one of those situations where they just didn't actually play each other. They were just in the same group.
Okay. Yeah, a lot of rematches in this format.
Like, it's kind of a funny mixed feeling with that whole situation because, on one hand, it saves me study of a new opponent. I know Doomtap. I had to learn how he plays for the purpose of the group stage match. And, it's a chance at redemption because I lost that series, so I lost it 2-1, so I can try to win this one instead. But on the other hand, it's definitely a lot of potential for hurt feelings, because if I end up winning this series, I could totally see Doomtap being frustrated. Like, we each beat each other in one set, but I'm the one that moves on and he isn't. Whereas if he beats me, then it's like, well, gee, I got totally taken out of the tournament by one guy. Yeah, right, and I can definitely see that. So there's mistakes. I like the GSL format because of how it it does a really good job of it does a really good job giving a lot of matches. You don't feel like you just didn't play enough matches. Like that, I feel like that never really happens in this format. Like you don't feel like you never had enough chances to get through. Because like a double elimination bracket and 2 best of 3s is a lot of games. Yeah, and on top of that, if you consider the qualifier stage part of the tournament, which honestly you should, it wasn't that soft of a cut. That's 5 more races you did with a chance to have had better times in any one of them. And the qualifiers are kind of a replacement if you think about it for like if you are a StarCraft fan or were StarCraft had the S had Code S, which is what this tournament is modeled after, and Code A, which is a similar format, was a little less strict, and Code B is basically the qualifiers, and that's what our qualifiers are very similar actually to Code B, to the Code B tournament that they had in StarCraft. So honestly, I love the GSL format. I'm glad that it's caught on in Randomizer. I hope it continues on because it's a really good format in my opinion. Although we can't have the weird actual Code B tournament where you just call random people's names and they have 1v1 matches until you get a team of like 16 people. Well, it'll definitely be interesting going forward. I kind of assume a lot of the reason this format's a little different from past randomizer formats is some of the older tournaments took a really long time to complete.
Yes, and this one shouldn't. And we're already in the brackets, and there's only like each quarter is 4, and then the quarterfinals, semis, and finals. So it should be only about 6 or 7 matches. It's not double elim, right? I didn't double check that.
Oh, it's totally not double elimination. So when we race on Wednesday, it's I totally expect Doomtap to bring everything he has to bear because it'll be an elimination game for him.
Right. Yeah, I think one thing that like a lot of viewers sometimes don't realize, like, as much as chat loves to talk about Pendant. I believe the numbers. The last time I checked, the numbers for Pendant. Sorry, not Pendant. Sorry, for Pedestal. It was like less than 1% during one version. I'm not sure what the numbers are right now, but it's probably no more than 2% chance. So, like it was. I think it was sub 1% at one point. The way that the randomizer randomized. So,
I think Pedestal hovers. Depending on the logic iteration, I believe it hovers between 1 and 3%.
Yeah.
I think usually closer to 3%, but that's logical pedestal requirement.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's required, but it's the lamp or something like that. So, of course, the real required rate is low.
Yes, and that's where I don't my sub one. Like, there has been versions where it's where required in a race that is like less than 1%. So it's just never really worth it. It also is the longest check. It requires the most. So that's even if it was like a 5% chance, that would be it would still be a bad check to prioritize. But
yeah, I think kind of the way you have to look at long checks, like the pedestal's obviously a very long check, is you're trying to just route checks per minute as best you can. And well, if you just look at pedestal in isolation, you're like, oh, this is like a half-hour check. On the other hand, if you're checking the pendant dungeons anyway for items, you might get to your 3 pendants, and then the check's not that bad. You just run into the woods.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, these are actually dense dungeons. Like, pendant skull means that it's, if you have mirror, it's right there. Ice and pod have decent density for their checks. Pod having just straight up 5, and it was green, so 6 right there. So
yeah, with early bow that led to nothing in Eastern, and pod being green pendant, I was very suspicious of pod, but it just happened that other plays seemed just a little better at every point, and then I was in go mode with no pod.
Oh, unfortunately, we're not going to get to see what's in that if silvers are in. What's chest silvers are in. That's unfortunate. I was hoping that he would open up that chest. Oh, wow. I didn't know you could do that. That is very cool. You can use the hook shot to get inside the hitbox of Moldarm and then spin. I didn't know that was a thing you could do. That is very neat. I will never try that myself. A finished actually closer to... Give me 1 second. 120 something, so about 20 minutes ago.
125.13.
That's it, yeah. About 20, yeah, this is going to be about a 20-minute difference.
But yeah, thanks a lot for doing the commentary, and thanks for the restream. I know there's
a lot of matches
this
today.
first set of matches especially, there's just a flood of them, so I know it's a lot for staffing to keep up.
Yeah. I mean, with this, I think that there was at one, at the start of mine, I want to say there's probably close to 4, maybe 5 races, so that's required, staff from speed gaming that required, technically should have needed 8 to 10 commentators, but obviously, with just me being here, there was just nobody else available. It's also holidays, so people, and some people are already at GDQ, so it's a busy time. Also with GDQ in mind, while we watch Doomtap do a insane Ganon fight, actually, there will be less tournament during GDQ. There will be tournament, but just keep in mind that there will be less. So that was insane, actually. Also, Doomtap has just a pretty. We obviously, if you don't know, there's a 20-minute delay on the tournament. So Doomtap was finished 20 minutes ago, ish. He has declined to interview. So once he is finished, we'll wrap up. And thank you very much to Doomtap and EA for the great race. Even with Doomtap, being behind, he still put on a fantastic show. His execution is great. I always love when NMG runners get into Randomizer.
Yeah, this matchup between us is at least a very conceptually interesting one because we're probably as different of players as you could pick, right? Like, right. I don't have and probably never will have an NMG time, and he has a really good...
Yeah, I do love when I see the Major Glitches runner get into Randomizer, because Major Glitches speed Randomizer is very different. It's much closer to speedrunning than NMG is. Like, in just like the skills and applications and stuff. Like an old dungeon speedrun and an old dungeons, and a no logic Major Glitches Randomizer are very similar things. So, but that is correct. There is nothing until the 13th. So again, there are matches scheduled for January 4th, and then nothing until the 13th. There is Speed Gaming, or sorry, not Speed Gaming. GDQ is happening from the 4th to the 13th. So yeah. Obviously, thank you very much, everyone. Yeah, again, they've basically been told that if you schedule in that time, you might not get a restream, and there might not be staff around, so maybe don't do it during that time. The first round has an extended submission, an extended time. I think that they don't have to get done till the 17th, so that's all that's happening there. But yeah, continue to watch this, continue to support Speed Gaming, as well as the ALTTPR Randomizer, and the runners themselves. My name is Elnis. Tracking was Febreze Ninja, and our restreamer today was Tippy00. So thank you very much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.